Back to the voice of Putnam County business. Nat, I got to commend you for doing such a great job of bringing the best of guests around Putnam County to our podcast.
Well, and today we are not going to disappoint anybody because we've got one of really, in the last half dozen years, I've come to know Martha Elder, who is the executive director of Second Chance Foods, who is our guest today. But I had a chance to come to know Martha, and she's a wonderful person doing something really important. But Martha, you better tell us what it is. Would you describe Second Chance Foods? I'm going to ask you what it was and what it is now, but how do you describe Second Chance Foods?
So Second Chance Foods is a food rescue organization. We're a nonprofit, and we're really working at the intersection of food justice, environmental justice, and healthcare. We recover thousands and thousands of pounds of food every week. We bring it into our facility in Brewster where we sort through it. We decide what can get donated out as fresh groceries. Some of it we keep behind and we cook meals with it in our commercial kitchen. Everything gets donated global.
That's awesome.
And in addition to the fact that it's much bigger and doing more than it did, how many years ago when you founded it?
9 years. So March of 2016, we got our 501c3. We started out as a traditional food rescue. It was the three founders, our own personal cars, gas. We had no funding. We had a couple stores, a couple of hundred relief partners, and we've just grown from there.
How many stores and how many relief partners?
Oh my gosh.
9 years later.
It's hard to even keep count, Nate, that because we're just constantly adding. Just this couple of weeks, we had a Ronald McDonald House down in Alcala. We've got freezers kind of all over Putnam County and community spaces, really just trying to increase access to nourishing food for anybody who needs it. Yeah, I think it's something like 30 different access points we have now for our meals, for our groceries, really all over Putnam County. Pretty much every food pantry, the soup kitchen, for libraries, et cetera, et cetera. But we're in the 5-county region as well. So Orange, Dutchess, Fairfield, Westchester, Putnam.
Sounds to me like you're going to have a chief operating officer here. Tell me about your ability to keep up with all this.
Well, yeah, we're just working all the time to increase our funding, increase our staff, increase the amount of food we bring in because there is just so much unmet need in the hunger relief system. I don't know if you ever heard of ALICE data. It's a report the United Way puts out.
Oh, it's just ALI.
ALICE, it's a limited income constrained employee. And so these are people who make too much to access kind of traditional safety nets, but not enough to meet their basic needs. And so we're really trying to kind of fill those gaps and make sure everybody has access to nourishing food, right? I mean, what's a more basic right than nourishing food besides clean water?
Yeah, so
really, it's not. Hunger is so hidden in our area. People don't realize. Even we started bringing meals to home care. And so their caseworkers would bring meals to people's home. And when you present somebody with food, they're able to talk about their food insecurity and just open so much to them really understanding.
So let me understand the process. So you guys are cultivating food that is left over from restaurants, from supermarkets and stuff like that, and then bring it to your processing center to figure out what's still good and what's not, and then go on.
Yep, exactly. So mostly grocery stores, restaurant supplier, and Syndico here, right in Brewster, as a huge donator, Trader Joe's, Chico's, local farms work with us throughout the growing season, the orchards, people in their private gardens bring us their excess. So many different sources that we can in through. And we've got a 4,700 square foot facility in the village of Brewster. Extensive cold storage. I call it our last mile distribution hub. One of the things we learned when we got into this business was food pantries are often like in church basements. They don't have a lot of cold storage.
Mm-hmm.
So if we could really build that up and then deliver it to food pantries right when they're open, we don't even need to think about having those, units in the facilities.
So, Jeff, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, I got a phone call from Martha. Call was, you need a refrigerator. So many refrigerators.
Oh my gosh, we have a lot of refrigerators. We've got 4 walk-in units, multiple, just commercial size. We've got walk-in freezer. We've got multiple, commercial freezers. No matter how much we have, there's always like, we could use more.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would get filled up, emptied.
And how do you go about acquiring some of the equipment that you need?
Well, through, we use our funding.
Yeah.
We're a little more funded through private foundations than from individuals, but it's pretty close to half and half. We had one federal grant that has been passed through to us for nonprofit extension of Putnam. Unfortunately, Cornell got an email in early May saying the grant had been suspended due to the government transition.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't even fight the suspension because it's only suspended and not canceled. And so we had spent down about $31,000 of $100,000 grant that had been promised to us. And so, not a huge nonprofit. We got to figure out how we're going to make up that money.
So working on a much smaller budget than you used to.
We're making sure we don't.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
So now let me ask you this too. So just because I'm curious about it, there are certain foods that you get that can be redistributed.
Yeah.
There are certain foods that cannot be, I assume.
Yeah.
What happens to the food that can't be redistributed?
Great question. We try not to waste anything. And so we have a farmer, Lobster Hill Farm in Brewster. They've got pigs and goats and chickens. And so they'll come pick up our pig scraps or we'll deliver them to them. There's a man has a huge garden over in Kent. We'll bring scraps to his compost area. It's an amazing compost area. I mean, tree companies come and dump their wood chips there.
Mm-hmm.
We bring in green matter. Yeah, we try not to waste any food.
I mean, this is, there was a time when you did everything.
There was a time.
Tell us about how the structure of the company has evolved and what sort of managerial techniques you use to get this job done. Because you've got to be all these places and especially it's pretty hard.
Yeah, I guess there's a term servant leadership, which I guess is what I do, right? It's like the bathroom needs to be clean. Okay, clean the bathroom. But we're a staff of 9 now. 3 of us are full-time, 6 are part-time. So just so many different components, right? Here to solve the logistics. So we need lots of different, bodies and skills. And yeah, so, the executive director, we have an associate director, development person, our director of mission growth, 2 culinary people. We've already cooked 100,000 meals this year and buying all of them. We're going to double what we did just 2 years ago this year in terms of our meal production. I always feel like that's kind of like the most unique and important thing that we do. So many people in hunger relief, some of these folks are living in motels with a microwave.
Yeah.
Entire families in a motel room with them. But we, create a full meal. They can just heat it up and then. So that's kind of been our focus, really. Also, again, on the access piece. So putting up these freezers in places like libraries and health care, all the senior centers. I had a lovely experience when I went to the Mayapack Senior Center a few weeks ago. I don't do these deliveries very often anymore, but it was kind of a last minute cancellation. I was like, oh, I'm going to do it. I like getting back involved.
Yeah.
The seniors were already like, oh, what are you unpacking? Oh, the soup, that sounds good. I'll take one of those. And then they were left with the empty boxes. And I said, oh, let me go back. I'll take a picture of the full freezer. There was a whole line of seniors lined up to take the meals. It's just, again, such an unmet need. The seniors coming in, they're getting their lunch, but then what do they do about dinner? What do they do about meal on the weekend? And so,
Yeah.
Just make it really easy, dignified, nourishing.
Do you find it frustrating that you never seem to get that we never seem to get way against the problem? Because each time we look, we find that it's grown. It's more widespread than we thought. Does the enormity of the problem frustrate you sometimes, or just inspire you?
I think I try to stay in my lane, right? Like our lane is let's feed people. I'm so glad there are people in the lane of like, let's look at policy and, trying to change the way things are done. Because all of that is so incredibly necessary too. But, our lane is like, let's feed people. hunger is immediate. I can't say, we're changing policy, we'll feed you next year. Right? So I eat at least 3 times a day.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, obviously your goal is number one priority, right? Now let me ask you this. So are people that are in need of meals, are they coming directly to you, or are they going to their local shelter that might have food or something like that, or whatever it may be?
Right. Yeah. So we have more of an organization to organization model.
Mhm.
There's already amazing organizations out there doing great work. So let's just partner with them. So for most programs, we are the number one provider of fresh produce. Mostly what they'll get from a food bank is more like canned and boxed items.
Sure.
That's our focus. So like we recover from Trader Joe's, what we want is their fresh produce. When we recover from Ascendica, what we want is their fresh produce.
Got it.
So that's the majority of what we recover.
And does it benefit you at all to say, hey, if your local Joe Schmo like myself who's got a garden and I just way too many tomatoes right now?
Yes, please drop them off.
Okay,
That's the door.
that's what I'm asking. So does it, like, even it's a small scale for obviously what's coming from my garden, for example, if it's still useful for you, then people need to know about that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We do have several home gardeners who drop off whenever they have access.
To build spirit amongst your employees, call up Martha, say, I'm bringing everybody over. We want to volunteer for a day, afternoon, like that. Would you let that happen, or do you have to be a little more qualified than that? I wanted to give it a volunteer.
Yeah, volunteers, amazing. Yeah, we do ask for a contribution if it's like kind of a corporate group. Like volunteer, we want you to partner with us.
Sure.
And yeah, except just mention volunteers. So we have about 400 people a year who volunteer with us.
Great.
So many of them are regular volunteers. They're with us, 10 hours a week, every single week. They really got community together, friendships, like celebrate each other's birthdays. So that happens.
And their eyes all water at the same time when they're chopping onions.
Yeah, well, we put out the signs. We're chopping, 20 quarts of onions today.
Is there anything that is needed as far as mass movement of food or any produce, something like that? For example, like that you would need a dump truck.
No.
But
At least the mass occasions I have those. So
No,
I
I
can help that way.
was just telling that we got a DEC grant to purchase a cargo van. My plan was to buy one of those Ford E vans, charge it up on
Need
site.
your-
And, yeah,
Very cool.
environmental organizations.
I like
We try to do the right environment.
Yeah, awesome. We can certainly talk about that.
Yeah.
Ford stands ready.
100%. That's fantastic. So, I mean, listen, the business model is fantastic. I think what the general public might not know much about is how many people are in need of meals.
Yeah.
And how they can jump in to try to help those folks.
Yeah. There's just so many ways to support us. I always say the easiest one is just help us raise awareness. Go on Facebook, go on Instagram, share posts, get on our email list, share emails with your friends. Just help us get the word out there. Be amazing. Volunteer with us. We use volunteers for everything, shopping, packing, folding laundry, transporting. It's practically 7 days a week for volunteer with us. And of course, donating,
Sure.
We have to pay the rent, we have to pay the propane, we got to pay the gas, we got to lots and lots of bills.
And is the facility set up is in Brewster, correct?
Yep, right in the village of Brewster.
How big is the facility?
That's different than the first time I met.
It is, yes. We moved a year ago in April. So Medley Catering shut down their offsite catering business right when we needed a new facility. Our old facility had been sold and we had to move. After 60 years, I said, this is like the karma thing. Something being available right when we needed it. So we've got a large warehouse area where we've got most of the cold storage, 2 rooms that we can use for sorting, for packing, and a very large commercial kitchen where we do all cooking. commercial size garage door for deliveries to come in and out. So it's a great facility.
Yeah, I think I know the facility you're talking about. So I was there not that a few years ago. It's probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 years. So it's a pretty good sized facility.
It is. Yeah.
That's a unicorn in Putnam County. So the fact
Oh.
that opened up
Yes.
at that time and in
An actual miracle.
total miracle. Total miracle.
We were meant to exist.
Yeah.
That was the message of the universe.
Oh, yeah.
That, by the way, was the voice of our founding chairwoman, Jan, who produces our show for us, and we wouldn't be able to go any further without
Thank you, Jen.
always,
Guys.
always makes a wise comment. What we're doing. But Martha, can we take a 3-year view or a 5-year view? I'm sure you worry about what's next, but how long will you be? I mean, at the pace you're going, how long will it be before you need an additional facility
Right.
or a whole new one?
Yeah. So we for capacity at our current facility. We cook 4 days a week right now. We could cook 7. I probably need to find some offsite cold storage or something. Yeah, I mean, maybe at some point we're gonna have like a satellite kitchen in Westchester or just someplace locally. My big vision though really is about just transforming the way people look at hunger relief. Yeah, again, it's just bringing in more access, bringing in more dignity, bringing in more nutrition. Let's be a model.
Do you sense that there are organizations like yours all over the country that could increasingly cooperate with each other, or are you modeling yourself on somebody else, or are they modeling themselves on you?
I feel like we created our own model, and every community needs something a little bit different, and so we created the model based on what was needed in this region.
Mm-hmm.
There are other organizations around the country doing things that are similar, not that many really. Increasing over time.
I feel like a lot of these organizations are government run. Or I guess the access for meals government run, which might not be always the best, right? It might not be exactly what a certain area needs, just like you said, right? You fit Virginia and Putnam County and figure out what this region needs.
Right.
Whereas that's very broad.
Right. Yeah. I was on a phone call this morning with an organization who, like, basically 100% of their funding comes from the federal government, and it's been cut.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're going out of existence. And, it was a big lesson in, okay, diversify your funding.
Sure.
Food banks are under a ton of pressure right now because it's mostly USDA funding, which is being cut. And so kind of these on the ground, more grassroots organizations like Second Chance Food are more important.
It boggles my mind that Normandy of text. We do have a nice audience out there that you're speaking to now, and that you will speak to when we get your podcast up and around. But think for a moment, what are I mean, I think you've mentioned them, but mention them again. What are the things that you want our audience to hear from you and do?
Yeah. Again, help us raise awareness, come volunteer with us, donate money, all of it. It's very impactful.
And where can, like, I saw your website this morning, so let our audience know where they can find you and research a little bit about what you guys do.
Yep. So we're on the web at secondchancefoods.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn. You can find us in those places. You can donate right on our website, send us a check.
I'll tell you what, the website is well done. Having gone through it, it is very well done. It's very easy to navigate. I think efficient.
To get emails are so regular and so enlightening. Who writes? Is that you? Writes those emails, or do you have someone who does it for
We
you?
have a couple of communications, or people on our staff who are in communications.
Awfully good at it. So never miss a beat. I mean, I think I can't remember. It must be a Saturday. First thing I see
Saturday.
is a message from Secretary. And sometimes it's a delicious sounding recipe, but it's Sure.
Yes, I mean, it's the recipes we use in our kitchen to send meals to our recipients. You know, I always say we never want to send anything out of our kitchen that we wouldn't be proud to serve.
That's fantastic. Are there any major events throughout the year that you participate in that people should come and see and witness what you guys do?
Well, I invite you just to come for a tour, get in touch with me, and I'm happy to show you around and what we're doing. We have a harvest celebration coming up on October 16th. Tickets are going on sale probably next week or so. Again, it's going to be the same recipes we use for our recipients. We cook all the food for that event. It's at Mount Frisco Country Club. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a little magic. Because there's a lot of magic that happens at Second Chance Foods. Yeah, it's going to be a good time.
We got an assignment for you, Nick and Jen, and they,
Okay.
we all, is it October 16th?
It's the same thing as her.
Oh,
There's a pair.
16 we conduct about 40, or what's it called, 40 under 40?
Yeah, Trailblazers this year, the theme is 40 under 40.
So question is, who of your 9 you have now, Margaret? I'm done. You know, you and I have known each other too long.
I need
to
60 or
guess.
60.
Martha's not
Oh,
under 40.
Of course, I shouldn't. I thought that I got my dates wrong.
22.
But I mean, if there's someone who could help you nominate that,
Okay, that's it.
and that would
It gives promotion.
it would
Legislature.
give someone the opportunity to get, as Jen said,
Yeah.
some more exposure.
So,
And it does require a little, got to find a way to write this person up. I'll do a modest chase you down.
Okay.
And Martha, you know, to the extent you qualify, you just confirm that for me. That's really good. Gosh, it's lovely having you here.
yeah, absolutely, Martha. I mean, I think it's fantastic the work that you do. It's sort of the mission that happens. What kind of business telling us about?
Lovely. As you've already said it, I like you a lot, and I'm very happy you came on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow,
Well done.
you're such a good. You don't, we